From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. A new report says customer complaints about their phone, internet, and television services have surged so far this year.
The mid-year report by the telecom sector's complaint watchdog says grievances are up 61%. The increase has been driven by customers' issues with their wireless service, largely because of installation and activation costs, incorrect monthly plan charges, and roaming fees. Internet issues accounted for 28% of total complaints. The report says Rogers had the highest proportion of all complaints, followed by TELUS and Bell. Michelle Zedekian, the Canadian Press.
Nearly a year after the sudden disappearance of two young siblings from their mobile home in rural Pictou County, Nova Scotia, Mounties still say there was no evidence of an abduction or criminal offense. Mounties say 11 Nova Scotia RCMP units are working on the case of Jack and Lily Sullivan. Michael Arntfield, a Western University professor, criminologist, and cold case expert, said investigators simply can't publicly reveal everything they know or suspect, given that doing so could jeopardize their work by tipping off potential suspects. A royal state dinner was held at the White House last night for King Charles and Queen Camilla. Here's ABC's Lionel Moise.
The President and First Lady hosting King Charles and Queen Camilla for a state dinner. Among the 120 guests, multiple Supreme Court justices, tech CEOs Tim Cook and Jeff Bezos, golfer Rory McIlroy, and Patriots owner Bob Kraft. President Trump starting off with a joke after saying the King's speech to Congress earlier in the day made him jealous.
He got the Democrats to say it. I've never been able to do that.
Sport funding made the podium in the federal government's spring economic update. The Liberals will inject $755 million into sport over the next 5 years to expand access and better support Canada's athletes competing on the world stage. Canadian Olympic Committee Chief Executive David Shoemaker says athletes have finally been heard.
There's a strategy in place now and funding behind it to take young Canadians from playground to podium.
Toronto Blue Jays left fielder Davis Schneider is sharing the story of his older brother's opioid overdose death in the hopes he can help save other lives. Schneider's brother Steve was a nurse, an athlete, and a much-loved member of his New Jersey community before he died in 2020 at age 26.
During COVID, everyone was kind of dealing with some stuff. It was just an abnormal time for kind of everyone. And mentally, he just wasn't in a really good spot. And I didn't know that. He never really kind of showed me he was kind of struggling with stuff. And, he fell into some drug stuff.
Emergent Biosolutions, the manufacturer of Narcan nasal spray, announced today Schneider is a paid spokesperson to help encourage more availability of the life-saving medication. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Edmonton Oilers and the Boston Bruins managed to stay alive in their respective NHL playoff series last night with clutch wins. The Oilers, led by a pair of goals from Leon Draisaitl, beat the Anaheim Ducks 4-1 to reduce their deficit to 3-2 in the best-of-7 showdown. And Boston's David Pastrnak scored in overtime to beat the Buffalo Sabres 2-1 to also live to play a Game 6. 3 playoff games tonight, including one in Florida, where the Montreal Canadiens face the Tampa Bay Lightning, hoping to take the lead back again. Their series tied at 2. In the NBA playoffs, the Toronto Raptors will try to keep the energy going after 2 straight wins as they bring their first-round series back to Cleveland tonight, tied with the Cavaliers. Last night, the San Antonio Spurs knocked out the Portland Trail Blazers, and baseball's Toronto Blue Jays look to win their series against the visiting Boston Red Sox this afternoon. The Jays shut out the Sox 3-0 last night. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.